choir. Of course, our music director, Steve Perry. And Robert Farrago, you just absolutely get a AAA plus on the processional that came in. It was fabulous. Many of you might not know the story of the plaza, but J.C. Nichols went to Spain. He saw an outdoor shopping area there with tiles on the roofs and a wonderful Spanish architecture. He came back with the idea or the dream to recreate that here in Kansas City. He stood on the hill over on the top of Main Street where the Trio restaurant is and some of the other shops. And he looked down on this whole plaza area, and at that time it was nothing but a slough. It was a pigsty. It had no value of beauty or anything else to it. But he imagined, he dreamt the plaza being there. He went around and he tried to get investors. And investor after investor after investor said no. They couldn't capture his dream. They just couldn't see what he saw. But he continued, he persisted until he got one person, a very wealthy individual in Kansas City, one person that said, okay, I will help you get started. Once he signed on, everybody else got on board because he knew that guy had a record of success. Now then, from the time he stood there on that hill and looked over at this entire slough to now, think of what has happened. It's absolutely incredible. And down at the horse fountain at 47th and Main, there's a little plaque in the ground right by the fountain, and it says, J.C. Nichols was a dreamer with the capacity to make his dreams come true. And that's absolutely the truth. And that's absolutely the truth about you and me as well. We have the capacity to dream, and we have the capacity to make our dreams come true. Now, the reason they always sometimes don't is because as we're dreaming, little thoughts creep in of doubt, little thoughts creep in fear of failure, what other people might think, and so our dreams are sabotaged, so to speak, by our own thinking. But when you dream something that you want, and you dream with a great emotion, the mind believes it to be real and begins to move you towards creating that or manifesting that in your life. And sometimes as you're moving down the path to your dream, you might run into obstacles, you might run into setbacks, you might run into all sorts of resistance, but you have the capacity to overcome those obstacles. Also, sometimes you're moving down that path toward your dream, and you come to a fork in the road, and you discover that the fork in the road leads you to something that's even better than what you thought. So we're always open to something bigger and something better, to the higher good that serves us. Now, I share this story this morning because I have a wonderful young gentleman who graduated from high school this year, and I want to imprint upon him that message that he has the capacity to dream and the capacity to make his dreams come true. And I'd like him to come forward now. Charles? Or Christopher, excuse me. Please forgive me for that boo-boo, okay? It's good to see you. Christopher is a football player, graduate, gets good grades. He's just an outstanding individual. He's been in our youth program for many, many years. And today, as Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village to raise a child, but I'm also want to say that it takes a village, a spiritual village such as this is. It takes a spiritual village to send a young man out into the world, to move down his path of life, to discover, to dream, to experience all the things that we know he's capable of doing. And Christopher, I have invited some people today to come up and share some of their thoughts with you. And so if those people that agree to do this would come forward. And could you guys help me bring those chairs out? And I'm going to have you sit right here, Christopher. You get the comfy chair. And we'll kind of line them up so that they can see Christopher out like this. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we need one more. Everybody have a chair. Okay. We are so happy for you. And we want you to know that this is your spiritual family. And no matter where you go in the world or what you do, we're always here for you. This is your haven of rest and inspiration. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling out, when you're feeling lost, you just know that you will come here and there will be people in those seats that support you 100%. Now, the people that I've invited up on the stage are here to share a little bit of their wisdom with you. Donna, we'll start with you. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Thank you. Hi, Christopher. The most important thing for me that I recall that I carried with me when I was your age and going out into the world was this: to thine own self be true. There's a self in you that is the source of your guidance when you feel confusion, when you feel hurt and sad. That's the source of your healing, source of your joy. That self will never, ever abandon you. There may be times when you feel you have lost connection with that self, but that's just an illusion. There is a cord of love, of golden love and light and energy that connects you with this self. To that self, be true. And when you are true to that self, you will find your happiness, you will find your prosperity, you will find your purpose, you will find your success, you will find your true life. To thine own self be true.
Did you get all that? Wow. Christopher, we were asked to write just a short paragraph so it could be memorialized. And I need you to know that I wrote the most brilliant paragraph, but I can't remember what in the heck I said. So just hang in there with me. I'll take yours. This life of ours creates a seeming rush of endless next step, next here, what am I going to do? Graduation is one of those milestones. And I'm here to tell you this morning that you have already arrived. You're already there. And so the anxiety that may come with whatever your next steps are, set those aside and recognize your own brilliance, the love that you've shared with this community, and the person that you are. You're building on that, but you're building on that just to broaden your awareness and further awaken yourself to the brilliance that you are. So it is we, in knowing you, who have graduated, hopefully to a higher level of consciousness, in recognizing your gifts, your presence, and who you are. So move on to the next step as you may, but always remember that we are here with you and that you are ever present in your spirit and you have arrived.
You don't have to run, okay? Life is going to throw you so many things, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I like to keep it simple. Our peaceful heart, peaceful mind, peaceful spirit. Really focusing on those three. I feel like I've been through so much. Your success is so indicative of your hard work. You're so intelligent. I mean, what we talk about in Youth of Unity stays in Youth of Unity, but you are so insightful and wisdom beyond your years. Continue this path. You are golden. You're going to be able to handle so many different situations that are thrown at you. We've all had to learn and grow from all of our situations and life experiences. Your spirituality is solid. We are your family, as Duke was saying. We are your spiritual community, and we are going to be here for you. Please try not to work every Sunday. Okay? We get out of habits. We really do. It takes 30 days to create a habit. Stay in your habits. And remember those three things we use at Unity.
Don't stop playing and being silly. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't still go outside and play tag, and you should, whether that's your future significant other. And when you have kids, play tag. But even when the kids are gone, go outside and still play tag. Don't care about what your neighbors think. They're just being cranky because they don't get to play tag. But don't stop playing because you think other people think you're not supposed to, because it's joyful. And still be silly, and just because you're an adult doesn't mean you have to stop. So that's the biggest thing I think for me is don't stop playing. So.
Hi, Christopher. I've never met you before, so my advice is a little more humorous. That is personal. Are you moving on to college, you think, maybe? Okay, perfect. That fits with what I prepared. First thing I was going to let you know is don't be afraid to ask for help. When you get to the college level, you'll find many professors are willing to help you, but they're not going to seek you out. You're going to have to, take the first step to initiate that help. Don't procrastinate. It's amazing how fast a semester will go by. The first day of class, they'll hand you a syllabus with all of your assignments, and that'll probably be the only time you talk about those assignments in class. So they're going to really expect you to kind of, break it down into manageable pieces. And trying to read an entire textbook the night before midterm or final is brutal. Trust me. When you go to buy textbooks, try and buy the used ones as often as possible. If you can find one that someone has already highlighted, bonus. Refer back to reading the book the night before. But most importantly, just enjoy college. This is the best time of your life. I wouldn't trade my years in college for anything. You're going to meet lifelong friends, people that will be in your wedding, people that will be godparents to future children, and it's just the best. So I wish you all the luck in the world, as you close this chapter with high school and move on to the next endeavor in life. Try those tears.
Good morning, Christopher. You also don't know me. And this morning, it's amazing how things just sort of happen. I just came back from a trip, and at the airport going on this trip, somebody said, "Oh, here, ma'am, let me help you." And I realized they didn't say, "Oh, miss, let me help you." And they weren't kind of flirting with me. And then I was down in Mexico on this trip, and somebody said, "Oh, sí, señora." And I'm thinking, it wasn't señorita. And so not only do you make a transition at this time, but we all, our whole life, continue to make transitions. So I had that happen, and then it just so happened that this morning I was sitting meditating, and I was thinking, okay, so now that I'm not a miss or a señorita anymore, I'm a señora and a ma'am, what does that mean in my life? And I just can't believe Duke asked me to do this, because as I was sitting there thinking, all right, at this point in my life, who do I want to impress? And I was thinking, my granddaughter. What can I bring to her? And I was thinking, the things I would like to show her, thinking this in my mind, and then when Duke asked me, I thought, I'm going to try it out on you. So, Christopher, the first thing is never be afraid to smile at a stranger, which you already have that knack, I can tell. You just smiled at me right from the beginning, which it just gives you bonus points from the get-go. The second is I'm going to have you stand up. Never be afraid to stick your hand out and shake hands. And he's got a good handshake. And oops, don't sit down yet. And the third thing is never be afraid to receive a hug from a stranger.
We have one other person that couldn't be here today, but she did send me what she was going to say, and I want to read this to you, Christopher, from Winnie Dunn. And she said, "It takes courage to be your authentic self. People will discourage you from this path with their fears about standing out or looking weird. Be courageous anyway, because that is how you will attract all the other courageous people with common quirks and interests to hang out with you. They will say, 'How cool,' and you are amazing. Watch for them and tell the others to be quiet." Christopher, do you have anything to say?
I just want to thank you all for words of encouragement. They were very meaningful to me. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Now, Christopher, I'm going to have you stand up in a minute. And when you do, you're going to hear applause. And I just want you to think that every single clap that is being done is love sent to you, it is hope sent to you, it is support, and that we are bonded together in oneness with you in spirit. So please stand. Let's give him a round of applause. I'd like you to stay here for just one minute. Thank you very much, everybody. Christopher, just by chance that at some point in time you might choose to become a Unity minister, I'm going to kind of break you in now and give you one of the very important characteristics of a minister and one of the responsibilities. And the thing is, don't ever, ever forget to do this, and that is take the offering. So I'm going to say something to you. Kenna, would you give me that mic again? And I'd like for you to say it to the audience, and they'll repeat it after you. Okay. I'll say it to you, you say it to the audience. Unity Temple blesses me.
Unity Temple blesses me.
I am blessed by Unity Temple.
I am blessed by Unity Temple.
And I thank you
And I thank you
for the... You don't have to repeat anymore. Once more. And I thank you
and I thank you
for the abundance.
for the abundance.
You got to put your hands out. For the abundance
For the abundance
of your offering today.
of your offering today.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Great. See you.